The secret to visibility isn't about doing more. It's just about doing less, much better. My leaving corporate moment was very similar to yours. I call it my naked in the closet moment. The universe coming and like punching me in the gut, just like you said, saying, no, you can't do this forever.
Video is the next best thing to you being in person, if not even better. Start where you are. The key word is start.
I am so excited to have Ed Troxell on my call. Ed is a personal brand coach and he created the Just 15 GPS method. He's going to tell us more about that. But Ed's got this like wildly crazy idea. It's not really so crazy, but the secret to visibility isn't about doing more. It's just about doing less, much better. So I am so excited to have Ed here to show us, to show you as a high achiever and give you permission to show up in your authentic way. So here we are, Ed. How are you?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here talking with you and having all your listeners hear our inside information over here.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell me a little bit about you. Like, not me, I know about you. Tell the audience a little bit about Ed, what you do, who you serve, like where you are, those sort of things.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm located physically in Northern California in the beautiful wine country, and I am everywhere virtually online from LinkedIn to Facebook and everything in between. And really what it comes down to is I'm a personal brand coach and helping entrepreneurs grow their business online so that they can show up, deliver, and engage more effectively without being bombarded with, 5 times a day you got to post and you got to keep up with all the trends and all these things that burn us out because we're business owners. We're not content creators trying to go viral on TikTok or YouTube, right? So it's all about breaking that down into simple, actionable steps that move the needle even just 1% today.
I love that. I love that. I had a guest on previously who talked about 212 degrees, how at 211 degrees, water is not boiling, but it boils at 212 degrees. So it's literally just 1 degree that can make the massive difference in the effect, right? In what actually happens. So I think that it kind of reminded me of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just a quick little background on me. I've been a full-time entrepreneur. Well, I pretty much have been an entrepreneur my whole life, but full-time doing this business since 2015, where I started with tech support and web design services and then got really deep into the marketing piece, especially video, because you have to market yourself differently, especially these days. And prior to that, working at Apple and being in retail and working with small businesses to help support them and their growth in the changing times, especially when it comes to tech.
Yeah. So how did you move from like working for Apple?
Yeah.
Right. It's a great company to work for. I'm sure this is actually another good question. We didn't even talk about this one, but
Yeah.
I'm sure at Apple you were making a pretty decent salary.
Yeah.
And then you leave to go chase your dreams, chase your passion. Like, I want to know a little bit more about that. Like, what inspires you to do that? Like, was there a catalyst moment that started that?
Yeah, great question. So I dreaded full-time work forever. Like everyone's always like, oh, get a full-time job, get a full-time job. I always dreaded that because then you're stuck at one place doing pretty much one thing. And I didn't want to be left behind. And so I've always loved working with different businesses and being able to have the different challenges and help them overcome it. And Apple was great. I worked on the retail side of things. So I was in the sales, the workshops, the trainings, the small business support section, helping at all different levels and even working at some of the events as well. And so it gave me a lot of great insight into, simplifying things and being able to work with different groups of people and organizations. But it was limiting because I had to stick to those 4 walls, right? I couldn't do things that I wanted to outside of those 4 walls because they basically would be competing with them. So I had to really understand that that wasn't my sole purpose to stay there. It was great, good stepping stone, got me all the benefits, got me the good salary, and got me where I needed to be, but it wasn't what I wanted. And that was the key. And so I always joke with people, I retired at the age of 30 because that's when I finally listened to the universe. It had hit me a couple times, but I didn't listen until it really punched me in the gut. and was like, you got to go now. And I did. And I jumped on faith and I did that risk. And it's worked out ever since. So I've been blessed to be here helping out other businesses and grow here online.
You know, what's funny is I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I tell people all the time I wanted to retire by the age of 40. And that was my goal. Because at one point, early 30s, someone said, well, what's your goal? I said, I want to retire by the age of 40. My leaving corporate moment was very similar to yours.
Yeah.
I call it my naked in the closet moment. Where like I was trying to get ready for work and I just like I had a massive anxiety attack and looking back in this day today looking back at that, I realized it was like the universe coming and like punching me in the gut, just like you said, saying no, you can't do this forever. And so that's kind of what was my catalyst for going out and following my dreams.
Yeah,
very similar story. I love it.
It's so true. And that's the thing, we're hard workers, and those listening, you might be as well. And you might be at a 9 to 5. You might be in that corporate lifestyle. Understand that you will get signs and make notes of those. You don't have to jump right away, but just keep making notes of those, because that is an indication that you have something more that you need to pursue, whether part-time or full-time. So just keep those notes running.
Yeah, so true. Pay attention.
Yes.
Pay attention. Listen to your gut. Trust your gut.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit more about your first few days, whatever, years, whatever, inside your entrepreneurship space. Like, how did that feel for you? Like, where did you, because you came from doing like tech, right? So what I want to know is, how did you get to doing video, right?
Yeah.
Tech to video is kind of a big jump. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Great question. So I had a previous business prior, but it was only part-time. I mean, I ran it full-time, but I only did it part-time, which was a magazine business. So there was some video tied into that. And of course, publication and journalism, all of that. But going straight from the tech to this business full-time, I knew that I had to market myself differently, right? Like Apple, think differently. I was market differently. And I was thinking, how am I going to do that? How am I going to stand out from other web designers who are creating websites for people? How am I going to stand out from the tech expert who's been around for 20 plus years? And that's when I had a real conversation with myself in my backyard, like a crazy person, but we're entrepreneurs, so we're the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs would say. And I had a real conversation with myself of either you get good at video or you go back to a 9 to 5. It was plain and simple. That was my ultimatum. And I will tell you, I was not wanting to get on video. That is far from what I wanted to do, because I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like the way that I look on camera. All the things that you're probably thinking of right now as you hear us talk about video, you get that cringe moment and you're like, ugh, no, not me. That was me. And that was the thing that I knew video was going to be the game changer, and that's what's going to make me stand out. And so I had to get good at it. I didn't have to be great at it. I just had to show up. I just had to show up on camera and put that video out there. I had to post it somewhere. And that's how I jumped into it. And in fact, fun fact, I actually started with Periscope, believe it or not, back in the day, live streaming video, which I know is crazy.
That's an old name, by the way. A lot of people aren't going to have no clue when you're saying Periscope what that means.
It's so true. So Periscope is similar to Facebook Live or Instagram Live or TikTok Live. But I did it because Periscope was the only one at the time which had live streaming, because Facebook came later with live streaming. But I also kept doing it on Periscope because I didn't want people who knew me to see me on video, because I was, again, worried about what they'd say and judge me, right? So I had to find an outlet that worked for me to get warmed up and going. And then I started to migrate that experience to the platforms that really mattered. So that's kind of how the video piece evolved. And then, of course, started helping clients with getting comfortable on video as well.
So you said like something that I think so many people can resonate with. You said, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I feel like I'm very cringe.
Yes.
So what do you think, you right now you work with entrepreneurs. So most entrepreneurs are very high achievers, right? There's a lot of goals that we're trying to achieve a certain thing. Why do you think, I mean, you had the experience yourself, but why do you think showing up online to an entrepreneur feels too personal, too vulnerable? Because I mean, that's a story I hear all the time. I don't want to like it's I want to keep business and my personal life separate. It feels too vulnerable. So why do you think that is, and what advice do you give to them?
That's such a great question. And there's a lot of unpacking with that. I think oftentimes it happens because we don't like talking about ourselves. We feel like when we talk about ourselves, we're bragging, and maybe we come off too cocky or too extra or whatever it might be. And so sometimes that can be a little bit embarrassing because maybe we've had an interaction where someone in the past has told us, like, okay, you're just full of it. You're doing too much, right? Like, tone it down a little bit. So we're afraid to talk about ourselves and our achievements in that way. And it's just like writing an about statement for yourself. Like, how many of us jump to write an about statement? No. Like, what do we say? What do we do? Like, I don't know, right?
Mhm.
We're too close to it. And so that's where you need to have somebody else come in and help support you with extracting that and giving you that courage, giving you that boost of confidence that you have. You just need to unpeel some of these layers so that you can get in front of the camera and really also testing out the different environments. That's a big one when it comes to being on camera, is testing out the different environments, both your location as well as if you're sitting versus standing, right? You're sitting right now, I'm standing. I love to stand when I'm on camera. I feel uncomfortable when I'm sitting. It feels too awkward. Don't even get me started if we were in person sitting on somebody's couch, right? Like when we see on talk shows and stuff. Sitting on a couch is like the most uncomfortable, unless maybe it's the Drew Barrymore show, I guess. I see those clips, and she's very casual and stuff. But it's one of those things where, you got to find the space that you feel
Yeah.
comfortable and the clothes that you feel comfortable in as well. That's another big one. Kind of dropping a few different things here. And when you're thinking about being on video, I talked about Drew Barrymore's show for a second. It's because I studied the different talk shows when I got onto video. I wanted to start, I did start my own talk show at the time and ran it for about a year, going 5 days a week live for about 45 minutes to an hour. And ran it like a talk show because I wanted something different. So I studied that area. So find something that works for you and just take note and see what's one thing that you can implement in your business so that you can show up on video. And it might not even be posting something today, but working up so that you can post something tomorrow.
Okay, so you gave a lot of really good tips.
Yes.
And mine that I always think of, and this is like, tell me what you think of this.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, yeah, I'm sitting right now, but when I'm coaching, I'm standing.
Oh, yes. I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I coach, because obviously I coach. So when I'm coaching, I'm standing. Or when I'm at like, if I do happen to be going to someone's house or being in person, I'm always standing, right? And when I'm doing this, I'm sitting. So I think that there's something to be said about like not only just showing up on video in a place in a way that feels comfortable, but like what's creating your own scenario, like the Drew Barrymore show, right? Like you're a great example. Like Drew Barrymore, it's a very casual show,
Yep.
right? So I guess it's kind of like, what's the purpose of the video that you're creating, right? Do you think that there's validity in that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's why we see a lot of videos from in the car performing really well and making it easier for you to jump on video, because it's one, the quietest space typically, especially if you're a parent and have kids running around the house. Two, you have the best lighting typically in the car. And three, you're in a moment that people are curious about. Like, ooh, where are you going? What are you doing? You must be important. Must have something important to say because you're in your car still. Like, so there is something to be said about the different locations and trying different angles as well, for recording your videos.
Because you got to find it, right? It's like trial and error. You would like this. Right now, I'm doing a video challenge. And it started because I was talking to an entrepreneur on my way home from one of my masterminds, and he was telling me about how he created like 200 videos over the last 30 days. And I was like, It's a lot of videos.
Yes.
I was like, I could do that. And he said that part of what he got from creating that many videos is like the problem when you just do one at a time, you don't have enough data to tell you what works. You don't have like in anything, you don't have enough data to tell you what the audience wants to see, how you feel, how you show up, the scripting. Like you don't have enough data when you just do one at a time. So I was like, okay, I'll take that challenge. And then when I went to Arizona, I had some people who were around me, and this is a bunch of high achievers all in the same room. So, of course, I'm not the only one who's going to take the challenge. Not the only one. And then one of them is a one upper, which is fantastic, but she's a one upper. You know what I'm talking about, you
Yep.
know? And she was
Yep.
like, I recorded a commitment video from all of us. So we all have it out there. It's on Instagram. You can go see it just to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
But she said, we're going to do 10 videos a day for the next 30 days.
Wow.
So, so the video challenge is to get out there, and I've got to film today. I have a couple edited, but I have to get out, and I've done a couple of video texts. But the video texts don't count. Apparently, they have to be at least they have to be posted. Is what the rule is. So I've got to post these stories or post these videos. But anyway, 300 videos over a period of 30 days. Now, that's me, right? I'm also super comfortable in camera. What would you say to someone who is not Linnea, who wants to just start getting comfortable on camera, or maybe wants to take their video production, their video creation up one notch? What would you tell them?
I love that you bring this up and you show the extreme, because that is something that some people listening are like, I'm going to do that. I'm ready to push that envelope and I'm ready to jump in. And for those who aren't, I want you to start with the bare minimum, which is at least one video per week. At least one video per week, right? Because for some of you listening, just the thought of doing a video is terrifying, right? So we got to get comfortable with being in front of the camera, holding the phone, looking at it, talking. Like I will break down really the steps with clients depending on where they're at in their video journey, to the fact like you're just holding the phone, you're not even recording, right? You might press the camera button. I know it sounds so simple and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's kind of ridiculous, Ed. But no, sometimes we need those baby steps to be able to help us get really good at just jumping on the video part. So start where you are. The key word is start, and be able to start recording at least one video per week that you are actually sharing. Now that's the bare minimum. So don't go be telling everyone, oh, this guy, Ed, super cool. And he said, all I have to do is post one video and I'm going to blow up and have all this business. No, that's the minimum.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
Do not clip this part and just make that the clip. That's not it.
Yes, exactly. So start where you are, record those videos, tag us on social. Like if part of that problem is you worried about putting something out there and nobody's seeing it, you have permission to tag at very least me, but I think both of us you can tag. We will jump in those comments and we will give you that, yes, thank you. So good to see this. That's what you need to keep moving forward. We're happy to do that for you.
Absolutely. I'm agreeing with that volunteering 100%. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. Do you ever go back and watch your first couple of videos you ever created?
Great question. I haven't in a while, but when I first started, I actually, as painful as it was, I actually watched all my videos after I had posted them.
Me too.
It was hard, but you know what? We're our own worst critics. And oftentimes what happens is in the moment, we think, oh my gosh, I messed up. Or you finish recording and you're like, gosh, I said something wrong, or I said the wrong name or the wrong word or whatever it might be. And then you go back, if you will, go back and watch it. You don't even see it. You don't even realize it. You're like, wait, I thought it was right there. I thought it was that point. No, you were fine. And if you did, worst case scenario, you did, oh, well, it happens to all of us. You just keep moving. I hate to tell you, most people, they don't care that much. They're not even going to understand it most of the time because they're watching it. They're doing other things. They're probably on 2x speed listening to it, right? So it could literally just be a hiccup in the Wi-Fi. So just keep that in mind. Like, It's okay. You're human, and that's the beauty of video and you being present on video.
Yeah, and I think it's even more important now, like the less perfect your video is, the more human you are. And in today's day and age, I mean, I had someone on a couple of episodes ago who we were talking about, we went deep into AI, and I could talk about
Ooh,
AI
yeah.
all day, every day. And like, I'm like, yeah, I get total nerd out on AI.
Yeah.
Um, but we were talking about that. And the thing is, like in today's day and age of AI, you don't even know, like, Hey Gen. Have you heard of Hey Gen? That's that video
Yeah.
app that you take a headshot and it can create a whole video
It's
with
so
you. And it's not a real video. It's not you. It's the AI. You just plug in the script and it takes your voice and your video and your face and everything and
cool.
creates a video. And so talk a little bit about that, because the reality is, like, with that coming out, it makes it a lot easier for people to show up on camera. 100%, right? You just plug in a script and I don't have to be there, right? But there's a lot to be said about the authenticity, about the ums and the ahs and the oh shit. There's a lot to be said about that makes you feel like a real person. Like, for example, part of the reason I think we connected is because I saw one of your videos and I'm like, man, this guy's got a lot of energy. And like,
Yes.
he probably, I don't know if it's real energy, but it feels real, because in the next video, same amount of energy, next video, same energy, next video, same energy. I'm like, okay, I feel like I feel like I know you, and we've never even met in person. We've talked a few times, but so anyway, my question's over.
I
There
love
you go.
that.
Take the
No,
lead.
this was great. Such a great setup on that one, because that's exactly what video does. You watched one video, didn't even watch the whole thing, I'm sure. It was
No,
probably
I
like,
think I watched the first 5 seconds, if
yeah,
that.
yeah, perfect. So this is what's happening. Everyone listening, this is what's happening when you put out your videos, for the most part, right? Is that people are going to see just a few seconds of that video. Now, yes, that might be like a bummer, because you're like, oh my gosh, I spent a ton of time on that video and it's at least 3 minutes long. There's a time and a place, right? But get this, most people are only going to watch a few seconds of it. But then they're going to search your other videos. They're going to get a sense of who you are. Do I like this person? Do they have a good vibe? Do they have the energy? What are they saying? How are they saying it? How do they show up? What are they all about? People are researching you before they ever contact you. And that's
Yeah.
why I love video so much, and why you have to be on video, not your AI robot, not your faceless videos. You can include some of those if you want, but we need to see you, we need to hear you, and we need to be able to feel your energy, because people refer from people they know, like, and trust. They can't do that if they don't see who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's why I love video so much. And I say all the time, video is the next best thing to you being in person, if not even better. Because once you get comfortable on video, you just let loose and you don't have to worry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to being in a room full of, 50 strangers or 100 strangers, where you're kind of nervous and you're like, okay, well, how should I present myself? Because I don't know how all these people. Video, you start to get real comfortable. And that's a good thing, especially right now. Authenticity and having more raw content, unpolished, unhighly edited videos perform way better than the polished ones. And you should say thank you to the universe for that one, because it wasn't always like that. So it does help having less editing on your plate. So it's one less thing you have to do.
Yeah, to that point, when I first got into creating video, first of all, I do go back sometimes and watch my first few videos, because I like to show people that it's okay. I like to show people, like, look, when I first got on video, I was like this. Hello, everyone. It's so great I was so awkward. Like, hi,
Yep.
I hope you're all having a great day. I want to talk to you today about, right. That's literally
Hey,
what I was like.
everyone.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Linnea Carver here. Like, not realizing now, I mean, to those people that still do that, it's okay. Just work
Absolutely.
through doing that. Work
Yeah.
through doing that. But that's where I started. But I like to go back and watch it sometimes. And I think, like, one of the things that was really helpful for me in getting really comfortable on camera is I got really uncomfortable by asking my husband to give me feedback. Now it's hard because, like, of course, he's the one person in my life that I want to think I want him to think I'm perfect, right? Not really.
Yeah.
But he's also very, like, analytical and very methodical and very thoughtful, right? He's a super thoughtful person. So he put a lot of thought into this, and he came back and he gave me 2 pages of feedback on how I presented on camera, on my facial expressions, on my movement, on like my body language, my posture. It was just like, and then he like actually went and he's like, "Hey, I have a couple of things I want you to see." And he showed me he's super into car videos. So he would
Nice.
show me car videos and how the car videos would essentially tell a story, right? You don't have to have words in a car video, and it tells an entire story. Like how can you do the same thing? Like even if you weren't talking, how
Yeah.
could what you're doing, what you're wearing, what your background is tell a story? That's why I think the car videos do so well, because it tells a story. It tells a story that this is a real person. I'm just like you, right? I'm in the car. I got to go grocery shopping, and I'm jumping between meetings. And there's another content creator, Robert Croak. Do you know who he is?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you should follow him. He's on Instagram,
Yeah.
and he's a finance guru. I think he's like super into
Cool.
Bitcoin or something. But like he's a multimillionaire. I don't think he's a billionaire, but I think he's a multimillionaire. And his videos, like he will actually be there. He lives in New York, and he's like walking and talking on the streets of New York. So it makes you feel like, as the user, I'm like, I feel like I know who this guy is, because I'm like right in his face. You can see that he's busy. You can see that he's on the go, and he's probably just like me, right?
Right.
He's pulling out his phone, telling he has something at the top of his mind. He wants to say it, and he just pulls out his phone. And he starts talking about it, and it makes you feel like you're right next door, or right in walking with a millionaire.
It's so true. And I love that you bring that point up too, because that goes back to what we were saying about, hey everyone, or hey guys. Because I actually, when you were saying that, I remembered, I think 2 weeks ago, I did come across an old video of mine, and I did that. And I was super awkward, like you were describing.
Yeah.
That's why I had the flashback. And it's one of those things that the reason why we're saying that, for those who are listening and wondering, like, oh, what's wrong with that part, is because in the early days, we were talking to a whole audience, because that we were live, we're engaging, and we still do that. But now, like you pointed out, with walking on the streets with one person
Mm-hmm.
on the streets of New York, now we're starting to really tune into one-on-one conversations.
Yep.
That's why we're talking about personal branding and being able to get on video and get comfortable with it and talk to your audience, but just have one person in mind. Just that one person, because then it makes it more intimate, and it makes it more shareable, more relatable, and it just feels more comfortable, especially for you filming it.
Do you ever find yourself like envisioning a certain client on the other side of the camera?
Oh, great question. Oftentimes, no. I think
Okay.
for me, I love social media, and I love having conversations with people, especially when we're doing podcast interviews like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just get into the topic, and really try to include everyone in it, but also make it feel more personal at the same time. I know that's really weird, especially when I say it out loud. I'm like, what? But
I actually don't think it was weird at all. I can. Some people might not know what you're saying, so explain that. But I actually personally know exactly. I also do a lot of video though. But
right, exactly. So, and like you said earlier, it takes practice. It's trial and error. Like
yeah.
neither one of us, for those who are keeping up with the story here, neither one of us came out of the gate video pros.
Mm-mm.
We had to learn how to get good and be open to feedback. I love that you brought that up, because I look at feedback as strengths and opportunities. And I actually had one of my viewers on Facebook who had sent me a message about how I needed to make sure to remember to smile on camera. I mean, I always smile, but like there must have been some kind of, resting face happening, something.
RBF happening, yeah.
Yes. And so after he said that, like, first off, I could have been super offended, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, why are you telling me like that? No, come from it from the standpoint of, I'm only going to get better. What are my strengths? What are my opportunities? And that's how I looked at it. And from then on, I paid more attention to how I presented myself, even when I wasn't talking. And I made sure to continue to have that eye contact and be able to position myself where it felt comfortable in front of the camera, as well as I have other screens right now in front of me. I make sure to put things in the right place so that when I am looking at something, I can look and then I can look back at just straight in the eyes, right? So there's ways that you will figure it out, but you have to start and understand it's going to take time. And that's why I love videos, because you can record as many as you want. You can do the 300 in 30 days if you want. You can do the one per week, whatever works. But the point is that you're taking action. You're not just consuming, you're taking action. And that's what we both want for you after today's episode.
Right. Just take action now. So I want to ask you some technical video questions. Couple. So you have basically, when it comes to a video, you basically have 3 parts to a video. You have the hook, right? Yep. You have the mid, the body, and you have the call to action.
Yes.
So tell me, in your opinion or your professional opinion, what's the most important part of a video?
Oh, well, that's debatable. The initial, right off the bat, I was going to say call to action, because people forget the call to action.
All the time.
But when we think about what we hear online and what we want people to do, it is the hook, because we have to get people to actually watch the video, right? So it is a toss-up between the hook and the call to action. I will say, if people are adding the call to action in their captions at the very least, right? We want it in the video, but if we're assuming everyone is writing a beautiful storytelling caption and has the call to action in there, then I would start with the hook of the video. That obviously is the one that's going to get people's attention.
Right. That'll get people to stay on. I look at it, like, I like to tell people, like, it's really easy to tell what the problem is with a video. Like, let's say a video didn't perform. I say that very loosely, perform. Yeah. I mean, even if you have 200 views on a video, that's 200 people that saw your content, right? So, and when do you ever speak to 200 people at one time?
Yeah.
So,
and it just takes one.
Just takes one, right? So even that, I like to look at it as like, you can usually easily tell by data what the problem is.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to views per se, like views, just the number of views, that's you. If you have really low number of views or a really high number of views, like I think on Instagram views is something like 3 seconds or less, something like that. On YouTube views is like, I think like 1 second. So it's like very different. But like, if you have low number of views, it's usually because there's an issue with like the thumbnail or the title, that very first impression. Like, you may not even have said anything. Like, it could be the way the video opens, right? The very first, like, you click on the video, it's the first thing you see. So that's usually like a view problem. And then if you have a retention problem, it's usually a hook problem. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I agree with that. Especially when we think about platforms like YouTube. That's the big one. I mean, we always hear about the thumbnails, that being there. It will be interesting, and I haven't done any research around this. Maybe you have, I'm not sure. But it will be interesting to see how AI changes things for YouTubers, not in the sense of creating thumbnails, because we can do that, but because everything's searchable now, it will be interesting to see if videos with really bad thumbnails or no thumbnails at all start to perform better because of AI and search. If you have, I'm totally coming up with this off the cusp. So
yeah.
I don't know where that's going, but that just entered my thought, was like, that will be interesting to see, because I know thumbnails is what holds up a lot of people from doing videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, thumbnails and titles, like the title is how you cause the title's searchable. But also the title has to be relevant. Like, if you think about a title. Like, I saw one yesterday. It was like 12 years of business lessons in under 12 minutes. Right. Ooh. So for me, that's a really good title. I'm like, that's a great, that's not even the hook. Like, the hook was like this. The cool thing about it is, like, the second I turned on the video, he had his hook done in 4 seconds.
Nice.
And I was hooked in 4 seconds. And so it's like, I'm looking at that, and because I'm obviously always trying to get better. So I'm trying to take that feedback from myself. But the title was what I told you. I don't remember what I have no idea what the thumbnail looked like. No clue. I'm like, I just saw the title, and then when I clicked on it, I was hooked in 4 seconds.
See, that's cool. Now I got to go look that up afterwards.
I'll send you the link to the video. But it was really cool, because I was like, man, when I look at it, it's like I see there's a lot of opportunity for my own content.
Oh, 100%. Yes. And that's the thing, we always put ourselves last, right? Because we put everyone else first. So,
Right.
and there's always going to be opportunities no matter what. So for those who are listening, just know that there's always going to be opportunity for you to grow. You just have to start implementing something and stick with it for a while, right? Like you said, there's the 30-day challenge. That's going to help build that muscle of also actually doing it
Right.
consistently.
Right.
Right. So we have to find ways to be able to not only have great ideas, but what are our goals and how are we going to get there and how are we going to stay sustainable with it?
Yeah. So true. So true. It's like my CEO at our company, he just recently said, "What do you want that you're not doing the reps for?"
Oof.
Right? What do you want that you're not doing the reps for? Like, for a lot of people who work with you, I imagine they want more visibility. They want to make more, they want to help more people ultimately, right? Like that's same with me. When I work with people, they want to help more people and they don't know how to do it.
Yes.
So I like to say, like, what do you want that you're not doing the reps for? That's for the 300 videos. For me, it's like, I want more visibility. And the only way for me to get more visibility is to be more visible. Like
Yes.
that's not rocket science, right? And so the only way to do that, the only way to build those reps and to stay consistent is to give myself a massive goal. A
Yeah.
massive goal, right? With a big support, with a big accountability group, right? So,
Right.
talk a little bit about that. Like your clients, they're coming to you for a certain thing. What's their biggest problem that they come to you for usually?
Yeah. It's right around there, the visibility part. And it
Mm-hmm.
typically starts with social media because that's where they're struggling the most with actually using the tool or tools and being able to be more visible on those platforms. And
Okay.
so it comes down to exactly what we were just talking about and being able to think about, this is where that GPS ties in, that framework that I have is what's the goal? Like, what are you working towards? Or what do you want to work towards? Just that simple question can really open up a lot of doors because a lot of people may not know what they're working towards when they
Yeah.
just say, I want to post, right? I want to be more visible. We got to dive in a little deeper. So really starting with that as your G for the GPS part,
Mm-hmm.
then you want to think about what's the plan? How will you show up? So in your case, you're talking about video. Great. And you're going to create the video. Awesome. But then there's the S, the system. How are you going to stick with it? And like you said, you got your accountability group going. And so that's what I want people to start thinking about is how can you get in the car, turn on this GPS, figure out what's the goal, where are you trying to go, figure out what's that plan and what are you going to actually show up with, and
Mm-hmm.
then figure out what's the system that's going to keep you on the road, that's going to keep you going even when times are tough, even when you're busy. Like right now, for a lot of businesses, you might be struggling with the economy going on, right? A lot of people are being affected by this. So you might have more downtime than you would like to have. So you're thinking, what do I do? How can I bring in more clients? How can I have more conversations? How can I become more visible? Starts with this work, but it doesn't end here. This is what you need to be doing throughout your busy seasons as well, right? It's not just, oh my gosh, we have no business today. What can we do to have a magic pill that's going to give us business tomorrow? It's putting in the work, putting in those reps consistently over time so that you're continuously bringing in and nurturing new and people who have been in your world already.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important to not just look at this as I'm just going to do this right now because business is slow until I get more business, or I'm not going to do it yet because business is great. I'm going to keep putting this off. Don't do it. I talked to too many businesses who put it off until the ship is underwater and it's not good. So start now and continue to build from there.
Yeah, that's like the vicious cycle of entrepreneurs, right? It's like, they get super busy and they forget that what got them busy is the very stuff that they're not doing today.
Yep.
And then what happens 3 months from now, because everything's about a 3 month cycle, right? Things start to pay off in about 3 months. And then 3 months from now, all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, I'm not busy again. Let me go right back to it. So it's like this vicious, like up and down cycle. So
Yes.
you have a kind of a method, the Just 15 method that kind of solves this problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So tell me about that.
it's basically taking that GPS that we were just talking about and giving yourself 15-minute sprints. So what I've developed over time for myself, and then I've noticed it's worked with my clients as well, is 15 minutes is a good amount of time for us to get something done and to be focused on getting something done. You
Mhm.
know, when we think about all of the different things that are distracting us in our world, both business and personal, and when we think about how we don't have time, I mean, because that's always the first excuse I hear, especially when it comes to creating video. Oh, but I don't have time. Well, you do. We just have to find it and we have to look at your schedule. And that's where this just 15 comes into play, because it's all about a mindset and visibility piece here. And that 15-minute sprint is what is going to help your brain agree with you in, yes, we can create a video because it's only going to take us 15 minutes. We
Right.
got this. And
Right.
it's just long enough for us to focus, and then we can have a break. So your brain's like, yes, right? We just have so much bandwidth these days. And there are other methods out there that are longer, and I have not found those to be helpful, because yes, they can be helpful in some situations, but the 15 minutes has been a sweet spot for so many in
Yeah.
being able to get that work done and to build that momentum to keep getting that work done.
Yeah. Agreed. Do you have a like your favorite client that you've worked with like your just 15 method or your GPS method, like that just have to like tell me about that. Like what's the best result you've ever seen from this?
So I've had a few clients who have done amazing things with their video journey and being able to implement this to increase their visibility. One of my clients, she was already showing up on social media, but not using too much video, and really didn't have a plan. So we got that GPS set up for her, and she kills it on video now. It is just amazing. She not only was starting to get comfortable with being in front of the camera, something that took a while to get there, but also sharing more insider information on her industry and what she's doing and how she can help people and what people should know. And then she was also getting attention from what would be traditionally thought of as her competitors, but they're chiming in saying, "Oh my gosh, you're doing a great job. I want to do that." Like, how? What if you did one on this? Right? Like, it became a conversation piece, because let's face it, there's plenty of business for all of us out there. There's no competition. We need to work together to be able to help serve our clients and make sure that they get the best experience. So she started getting comfortable on camera. She started getting more well known in the community, and she got so well known that while other businesses were kind of at a standstill or maybe dropping off a little bit, hers was increasing. And within the first 3 months, she saw an uptick in clients. Within the first 6 months, she doubled her business and had to start growing her team in order to help support. So there's so many things. Yes. And the coolest part, I mean, obviously revenue and everything is great. We want that.
Yeah.
But the coolest part is when I get to see those videos show up and see what's new, what she's doing. And I do that with all of my clients, like knowing that they are showing up in a different way, that they're marketing themselves differently, and they're doing it no matter what, is huge. And that's something that I want everyone to take away is start doing something that's a little different that you're not used to. Know that it's not going to pay off right off the bat. I was just actually, we were just talking about this earlier. I was at an event earlier today where I was speaking, and one of the attendees, I complimented her because I've seen her LinkedIn. She's upped her LinkedIn game. And she was like, yes, I know I'm getting good. She's doing videos and now got a newsletter. And she's like, but it's still a little challenging getting the actual paid clients. Mind you, she just started doing all of this stuff. So she knows that it's taking time. And we had that conversation that she's going to keep doing this because she's doing really well with the videos and the newsletter. So again, that 3-month piece, right, that you were just talking about, that's going to start to turn over in the next
Yeah.
60 days, probably, because she just started within the first 30 days here rolling with that. So give yourself grace, understand that it takes time. That's why we start now, not when we're already in the bottom of the boat, right? The ship's sinking a little bit. We try not to start there. We try to start where the water is even with the boat, for that piece of it.
Yeah, it's so true. Like your story reminded me some very similar. I mean, I teach a little bit of video. Like right now, I'm just rolling out with my students. I'm like, look, you guys, we're going to go after YouTube and we're going to do it. And I basically gave them all the stats as to why YouTube's a better platform, the best, in my opinion. It's a better long-term branding
Yeah.
than like Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook are to support YouTube, right?
Yes.
They definitely support it. You want to have a strong presence there. But if you really want to have a brand, a long-term lasting brand that eventually means you can cut all of your lead generation expenses, like YouTube is really the place to be. And it's really cool because I have a client who very similar to yours was coming in and super like not confident in what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think like as a coach, it's really fun and rewarding and fulfilling and feels very purposeful when, I can help someone who's feeling a complete, utter lack of confidence and it's affecting all areas of their life. And then just through like a tiny tweak, like the just 15 method or the GPS, I have what I call the Fab 15 method. I know we talked about that, but it's a tiny tweak like that. You can, with like the Fab 15 or the just 15 or whatever it is, you can see someone go from complete should I even be doing this anymore? Am I doing the right thing? Should I even be here anymore? Is this what my calling is? To wow, like just almost like a complete 180. And it's so rewarding. So rewarding. Sounds just like your client that you were talking about.
100%. And you bring up such a great insight around the thinking that goes behind it. Should I even be doing this anymore?
Yeah.
And that's happening a lot. That conversation is happening a lot with seasoned business owners, 10 plus years in the business and having to market themselves for the first time in a very long time. Right. So those are real conversations for those who might be thinking that. Understand that you're not alone. And that's why you have resources like us to tap into and to really make sure that you are putting in those reps however you can, because it does make a difference. And chances are, by the way, when you start posting consistently, chances are you're not going to get that person who wants to work with you right off of, let's say you're posting on the YouTube channel. You may not get them directly from YouTube. They might have seen you on YouTube, but then they checked your website and then they checked your Instagram and then they saw your Facebook video and then they reached out to you. That happens all the time. And that's why when I go to networking events, especially the local in-person ones, I'll have people come up to me who I do not know at all. And they're coming up to me, Ed, how's it going? And acting as if we are best friends. It is cool. It is mind blowing. Yeah. And the reason why is because they've seen my face. They've heard my voice. They've seen my videos. So it's a nice icebreaker, especially for those of us who are like myself, a little bit more introverted, especially when we go to those in-person networking ones. So understand that there is a lot more at play, but you have to show up, you have to deliver your expertise, and you have to engage wherever you can.
Yeah. And you brought up a really good point about like showing up at events, right? Because the very first time it ever happened to me was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I was eating lunch. I think I was probably taking a big bite of food, like, right?
Yes, at that event, yeah.
Right. And I think I can hide, right? And I didn't know I couldn't hide. But someone walks up and she's like, Linnea. And I said, hi. Like, food in my mouth, probably falling out of my mouth. Who knows? She said, I see your videos all the time and you make me feel so confident and you don't even know me. She said, I just want you to know that your videos are changing this old lady's life.
Yes.
And also, I'll never forget that. Like, I don't remember her name, who it was, but I'll never forget your videos are changing this old lady's life. And so there's something to be said about like, your clients that you're helping, my clients that I'm helping, you, me, like when we show up for them, it's not just about showing up on camera. It's about showing up in their life. It's that parasocial relationship that you're creating with them and you don't even know it. You don't even know who's going to watch this video right now and be like, man, that Ed is like the exact person that I think I've been looking for. And he just happened to show up because I follow Linnea, right? You just don't, you have no idea. So I think it's important.
And I love that you bring that up. I don't know if I told you this, but when I went to I think it was last year, a Tom Ferry event, it
Mm-hmm.
was somewhat local, about almost 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I expected to not know anybody, right? I'm going to this event. I'm not in real estate. I'm not a real estate agent. I just work with agents and others in the field. So I didn't expect to meet anybody or know anybody. I get down there and I ran into a couple people I knew from my area. And then I had one person by the end of it who came up to me and was like, "Can I get a photo with you?" And I was like, I literally was by the bathrooms and I looked past me to see if she was talking to somebody else. She's like,
I've done that.
"No, you're Ed. I know you. I watched your videos." I was like, "What?" And it was just one of those same moments where you're like, we make such a huge impact on people,
Mm-hmm.
most of which we'll never know because there are what I call our secret followers. They're watching, they're paying attention, they're consuming our content. It's just like again, a daytime talk show. You show up consistently, people are going to watch you consistently and feel like you're part of their world.
Yeah.
It's the power of video. So embrace video and know that it's a long game you're playing and that you are going to make these milestones that we've shared here and you are going to make money. But you need to make sure that you're going in it with a plan and that you're going in it for the long haul.
Yeah, totally agree. That's like, I actually just said that today on my coaching call. I'm like, look, you guys, this is not an overnight success. This is a long-term game. They were joking with me, but they're all like, what? We don't want a long-term. We want to make it happen tomorrow. And they were joking because they know that's how I taught, how I speak, how I teach. It's what I teach. I'm like, look, you can't stop right now. But it's just a good validation that like, look, you have to show up every single day, or at least every single time you turn on the camera.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's even for those, I know we beat video to death and we'll continue to do that because we love video and it's important.
Both of us do.
Yeah. But even for those who are like, okay, I get it, but I'm still trying to get just a regular post on a consistent basis done on these social platforms.
Right.
Please understand that is important too. If you can't get to the video stuff yet, that's fine. But start being more consistent with posting on the right platforms for you and your audience, keywords, you and your audience, and start adding in more storytelling. Give it a little bit more meat because chances are there's some opportunities there. We talked about call to action, and now I'm adding in the storytelling in your captions for your post.
Yep. Love it. Okay. So how can my audience help you, or how can my audience find you? Well, how can they help you? You've been here to give them so much value. What can they do for you?
Oh, such a great question. I would love it if you joined my email list. It's free. You get tips and tricks and advice and Q&A options with me. And it's once a week. So it's nothing that's overloading your inbox. And if you want, you can just go straight to my website, edtroxell.com. And if you do /15-minute plan, and it's also on the homepage, you can pop in your email. So you'll get the email list and you'll also get a plan as well. So you get a little extra training there.
That's awesome. I love that. I love free stuff. So join Ed's email list. Ed, thank you so much for being here, being a part of my growth. It means a lot to me that you took time to invest in me and my audience. And I can't say thank you enough. So
absolutely. Thank you. This is awesome. I love that you do this and happy to be a guest.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone, we'll see you on the next episode.